Right. Good evening, everyone. Right. Today we are still continuing with our revision exercises. We want to look at perspective as our task for today. Remember, it's a revision exercise. We are going to stick to the past exam papers. Like I said from the previous lesson, let us make sure that we don't go beyond the 5 years, going backwards, so that you maintain the current trends. So it's our revision task today. Right, this is question number 3 of paper 1. Yesterday we looked at question number 3 of paper 2, which was isometric drawing. It's for the past 3 days. So we are still going to alternate from paper 1 to paper 2, paper 1 and paper 2 like that. Revision exercise, past exam paper, November 2018. Right, we are still looking at approaches and application. Right, as always, right, I want you to make sure that you are able to do and understand whatever we are talking about now. Right, so that can only be done when you are able to do it on your own. Right, that is application, right? That is progressive learning as well, right? It would not help you much if you simply see and forget everything that we are doing right now. You need to be able to understand, and you can only understand through practice. So take your drawing board, take your pencil, and take your paper, and let us do that. Right, that is November 2018, question number 3. Enjoy the lesson. All the best. Right, so this is what we have for today. Right, like I said, it's from 2018, November 2018. Right, question number 3, perspective drawing. Given 2 complete views and a partial view of a function wall, and the information needed to draw a 2-point perspective drawing. We are also given the picture plane, right? This is the line, that is our picture plane. Right, let me take you to the left so that we are able to see that. Right, that's the picture plane. We are also given the horizon line, all right? We also have got the station point, right, which can also be referred to as the spectator spot. Right, I'm not going to waste your time explaining the concept of picture plane and so forth. I know at this point you are familiar with that. Right, what we require to do is to show how we can attack this task so that we come up with a perspective drawing. Like always, the first thing you need to do is to establish the vanishing points. Right, you check with your set square. All right, in this case, it is a 45-degree set square that would require. Right, so from the SP like this, right, you draw a faint line, right, like that. Remember, you may not actually draw this line. You can just draw a line from here to there to hit the picture plane line. Then you take it down. Like that. Right, if you check on your marking scheme, right, that is the assessment criteria, you have got construction like that. Already we are generating marks for the construction. You've got 1, 2, 3. Here you are supposed to label now. Come here and label this point. Then this is your right vanishing point like that. That is your right vanishing point. So there's a mark for label, which is half a mark, and a mark for the point itself, which is a vanishing point, this line and that line. So already you have got 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, we talked about the approach and the application. So this is the kind of approach that you would require in order to get all these marks. Right, once we have done that, you take to the other side, right, again from the SP, right. Remember, the genesis of the vanishing point is always from the SP. Then you draw a line like that, like I was explaining, right? Then you project this one down. There you go, right? Then you come here, you label left vanishing point, right? So now what we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So of the 6 marks which are given, you now have got 4 marks. So it's 4 out of 37 at this point. Right. Now, once you have done this, you look at the diagram itself. Let me just take this one up so that you'll be able to see the upper part. Right. That is the upper part, but which we can hide and show just the lower part like that. Right. Now, you would check on your drawing if there is any part of the top view. Remember, this is our top view. This could be our left view or our front view, depending on which views have been defined. All right. And this one could be the right view or the front view. It would be left view or front view. This could be right view or the front view. All right. So we have got this point is hitting the picture plane. So we take this one down like that. Right. Where it hits the ground line like that, then you take it to the 2 vanishing points. Right. Remember, any point which is hitting the ground, the picture plane like that, it should be taken to the ground line and directed to the 2 vanishing points. So we would come here. From here, you connect to the right vanishing point, you do the same. You connect to the left vanishing point. Right. Then you would also now consider, right, the end parts, right? If we look at this from this point to that point, we can connect with the SP. When we say we connect, you connect from the SP. Remember, the SP is representing you, the observer. So we do this. Then we take it down like that. Right. Then once you have done that, what it means at this point, this line from here to there, which is the line that we have drawn, that line can be defined like always, whether it is isometric, whether it is assembly drawing. If you have got any part of the drawing, right, which would not be affected by other lines which would be generated, that part should be outlined. Right, so that is the part from here to there, okay? From here to this point, right? This is the extension for the circular part. Now, we can also now project from this side. We can project the height. We take it direct from here, or you can take it from there. It doesn't matter. Right, so that is the height. We take this one. We also refer to this line, which is touching the picture plane, as the HL. Not the horizon line, but it is referred to as the height line, or the line of reference for the height. You can create that height line, or you can use the one which is there, as long as the points are directed to that part. So like that. Right, so we have got from here to there, right? This is our height, right? Remember, in 2-point perspective, every point that we have defined should be connected to the 2 vanishing points, right? One should go to the right vanishing point, the other one should go to the left vanishing point. So already with what we have done so far, we can outline from here to there, outline from here to there, and outline that part. It's not going to change. So we come here. There you go. Right. So that is our first part with regards to the outer structure. So of the 9.5 marks that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We have got 2 marks of that. Remember, each line which is meaningful is credited with half a point. So we connect this one. From the SP, hit the picture plane like that. Then we take it down. Like that. Always you check, right? This is the point that we want, which is that point. Then we direct it to the left vanishing point. The moment we do that, we drag it backwards like that, right? It would give us that point. So we need to get hold of that point as well. Take that. Then we do this. Now we have got this line and that line, right? But we can also go on and connect to this, to the right vanishing point, like that. We can also have this point. Remember, this is part of the roof, okay? Right, so that is the roof. Right, the walls are here, right? So we connect with this part onto this line now. So let's do that. From the SP, right? Like that. The moment you have created this point, you take it now to the left vanishing point, because already there is a line which is going to the right. We have got something like this, right? Of course, what we should have done, right, once we located this point, we should have taken this one all the way to the other side. Like that, so that we establish this point. Right, this point is the same as that point, okay? So we have got this point which would come here, right? You can verify this, right? There's nothing wrong. You can verify, check if that is correct. Look at this. Like that. You'll find that you have got one at the same point. Right. So that point, by projection from here, right, we'll end up getting that point like that. Right. So at this point, you can also get hold of this. The SP. Like that. Right, okay. So let's outline some of the lines that we've done so far, which are not going to change. Like that. We can also come here. Like that. Right. The last one is this one. Last one in terms of connecting to the right vanishing point. And we can take this one to the left vanishing point. We have this, and we also have got that. So this part and that part, those are the points that we require at this point. Right. Now that we have got this part and also that part, the next thing that we would want to see and do, right, is to establish, right, this level here. Right, we can force this one like that, okay? This point, we force it, then we relate this one to like that. This is the actual distance in terms of the height from the ground to that point, but it's not the point that we require. Right, we have forced it from here to there, so we take this one now like that. But we take it to the right vanishing point, okay? Right, the moment it would hit this point, which is here, then it's an established point. We now take it to the left vanishing point. Like that. We now take it to the left vanishing point. So what we want is to outline now from here to there, which would take us there, and which would take us there, which are these points or parts which are being raised up. Then the moment we hit this one, we also now take it to the right vanishing point like this. Like this. We shall use that information later on. Right, but what we have at this point, right, remember this point, right? You can also force it to the left side like this. Let's see if we are going to produce one and the same point if we do this. But you have got this point which is hitting the picture plane. Then you take it down like that, right? You establish this, which is the true height. If we take this point to the left vanishing point, it should pass through this point. If it's not, which means one of our constructions is wrong, right? Which is exactly what we are getting. All right, so that point is correct. Right, so we can outline this. It's not going to change. Like that. Right. So we now have got this part from here to there, which is that part. We have got this part from here to there, which is that part. And we have got the respective heights. right? Which would be seen diminishing this way and also diminishing that way, right? We cannot define this one because we need to wait for the ridge line or the roof line, which is there, right? What we can find is this corner here, right? So we connect with the SP. We connect with the SP, we'll bring this one like that. And from the SP, yes. Then we take this one up, right? We cannot draw, outline anything going downwards here because we can see this part is relatively higher than that, right? So what it means is that this line from here to there, like that, that can be outlined, but we cannot outline there because of these details which are still there. Right. Remember, the idea is to make sure that every detail that you are able to define, right, is defined fully. Right. Then the next thing, right, we want now to project the ridge line in terms of the roof, force it, right? We force this ridge as long as it's not touching the picture plane, right? You can force it like that, you can force it like that. All right, then you take it down like that, right? You project the actual height you require, which is this, take it to that. We have got now a point, right? Remember, this is a point of reference. That's the natural height, but we also require a perspective height. The perspective height has to be connected to the vanishing point. Right, so we draw this one like this. Right, so that is the line in terms of the ridge line. Right, so what we can do right now, we can take this one down slightly. We can connect with this point to see where it is ending, okay? Right, we would not be able to find this one because it's hidden, but if you want, you can just show it for construction purposes. So we connect with this. Then we take it down. Like that, we get a point here. So this is the point, right, which is the same as that one, which is against the wall, right? So what we require now is to find the lower point as well, right? The procedure is basically the same, right? What you need to do, as long as it is not touching the picture plane, right, you would force that to touch the picture plane. You have got this, right? Then you take it down. Like that. You look for the relevant height. There are two heights here. We have got this one, right, like that. Let me just draw a complete line. We have got that, right? So we have got this line all the way, forced to touch the picture plane. This is actually a created height line, right? So we force this one, right? Then once, remember, you would need to know that if you project from left to right like that, establish the true height, which is this point and that point. This should be taken to the left vanishing point. But if you project from right to left, it should be taken to the right vanishing point. Right, okay. So we take this one, take the 2 points, that we connect like this. Connect like that. So these are, if you check on this one from here to there, which is the same as that one, okay? Right, so we now connect with the end parts, which is here. from the SP, take that. Then you bring this one down like that. You have got this point and that point. Right. Now, as you can see, this point, right, which is slightly up there, this point and that point, they are connected. So we can as well connect this one, right? It's a non-isom perspective line, right, like that. If we are satisfied with that, let me just use a different color. Let's see if what even red would do, right, for that part. Like this, right. Then we also can outline this. That will be stopped by the wall, right? Then we take this one down and we connect it to that. Like that. Right, so our shape is slowly taking our diagram is slowly taking shape. But if you check with regards to this, right, there's a horizontal line here, right? Because this is an actual point, what we need, therefore, is to make sure that we need to connect this one to the right vanishing point, like this. You connect this one to the right vanishing point, right, so that it would hit the wall at some point, okay? That is the point that we want, right? Now, once you have done that, again, from that point, it has to be connected to the left vanishing point, right? So that you see the underside of that, right? We refer to this one as a closed softy or closed soffit in terms of roofs, okay? Right, so what we need to do, right, first of all, let's connect this one to there. Right. So this is the underside. When you are looking from this particular position, right, you are the observer looking at this, you would see partly the underside of that roof. Then we take it to the left vanishing point, right, it would give us this now. So we need to have those two lines, right? Now, that's about the roof, right? We can now go back to our walls, right? We can now outline from here to there, right? That can be defined, right? We can also now go back to this part and outline the rest of that wall, which is going to the right vanishing point. Like that. Right. Then we have got certain details that we want to define. If you check, we got this, which is this corner here, but there's an opening, which is this door opening, okay? Right, so we need to get hold of this point and that point before we even define the inner part. Right, as you can see, right, this is not touching the picture plane, so we can force this one all the way, right, to touch the picture plane. So let's do that. Like this, force it. But we have got a point here. Remember, it's from left to right. Then we take this one down like that. Right. We need this height. We take it from here, right, to get it there. Once you have gotten that, you take your this, refer that one. So on this line that we have drawn, that's where we can locate this point and that point. Right, this one and that one. Right, we now have got the perspective height, so we connect with this. You connect with this. Let me just do these ones at one. The SP to the point that we require. You connect, you have got this point, but you bring that one down. Which is here. Take this one down. Right, so we have got that point. Right, and also do the same here. Like that. So now we have got the definition of our opening. It's from here to there, to this point, and to that point. Right, we can outline this. Like that. We'll take this one down. Right, just verify that. Connect to like that. Right, so we have got the door opening. Right, remember we have created a point here, and that point has to be connected to the right vanishing point, which is this one. So from here to there, we have got that point. Right. Then we connect with the inner part of the wall. Right, we connect with the inner part of the wall. Then we take this one up like that. Right. So what we have done, we have created a thickness in terms of the inner part of the wall. Right. And we can outline this. Right. From here to there, outline like that. Then we take the other one. We've got that. So that is the thickness of the wall, right? Which is from here to there, right? Brought down, we have got that. We have got the wall from here to there, which is the same as that, which is that. We have got the wall from here to there, which is the same as that. And the thickness, which is that one. Right. So slowly, in terms of our diagram, you'll find that we are taking shape. Right, okay. The next thing that we want to look at, they said, show the internal lines seen through the door opening. Right, what it means is that if we are looking through this door, there's part of the internal wall that we are able to see. And this is how you do it, right? You go to that particular wall, right? So which is a projection from here, right? This is in line with, so we do this. This is about the inner wall. We take it down all the way to the required height. Right, you take it, but you are not going to take it to the actual ground. Right, this is the platform where you are able to see that, which is this point, okay? Right, once you have done that, you connect this point to the right vanishing point. Like this, you draw a line like that. If you are able to see that line through the opening, then you outline that. The moment you will be able to see that through the opening, you define that like this. So what it means is that the rest of this part is now the floor, right? I can just render this. Remember, there are no specific marks for doing this. I just want you to appreciate what we have done so far. So that's the thickness of the wall. If there were tiles, you'd find that you would not now show the tiles in here and so forth. All right, okay. So that is the internal wall, not necessarily in line with that. It has to be a projection from this point, right? Projected. So you take this one like that, then you take it down. You project from here, which is the actual height, right? Then it is taken to the writing vanishing point. So through any opening, you should be able to define a line like that. If you cannot see it, then which means it's out of sight in terms of the opening. We are done with this, right? With the details which are here, which would constitute what we refer to as the outer and the inner structure. But now we want to look at the side structure. Right. The first point that we require is this one. Right. I've already projected to hit the picture plane. Then what we want now is the actual height, which actual height is right, is there. So that part, right, is not going to change, but we need now to locate this one from the SP, right? That is now critical. So from the SP, and we take this one down. But we locate a point like that, right? So what it means, right? This point which is here is the same as that one. So the next thing that we want to do now is to locate all these other points, right? This one, that one, so that they can be connected to that part. Just a moment. Just reducing the voice levels. You don't want to be disturbed in terms of your lesson. Right, okay. Right, so here, right, I can locate this point by forcing this one to hit the picture plane and going there, find the true height. The true height would be there, so we can do this. We get this point here. Right, remember that is not the actual point that we want. Right, it is basically the point which would take us to the perspective line. So first this one like that, you do this, you take the height which is there, right? Then from here, you connect to the vanishing point. Remember, we forced it from left to right, so it has to be connected to the left vanishing point. Like that, okay. So on this line, which is coming from this point, on that line, we can now get hold of this point and that point. So let's do that. Right, like that. take it down. We take it down like that. Right. So by projection, we will have got, right? If we connect with this point, we take it down like that. There is the point that we want, and there is another point that we want as well. Right, so that is the upper part. Right, so what we can do, we can outline this. Like that. But remember, this point is connected to there, and this point is also connected to there. So what we can do, we can faintly connect these points to there, like this. There you go. Right, if we want the lower one, right, the lower point, again, we force this one, we take it down like that. We now have got this point, okay, which is on the ground. Then this has to be connected to the vanishing point as well. Remember, it's not going all the way to the ground. Then you have got this, right? And with that, you have got this point and that point. So you can also outline like that. You do the same this side, like that. Now, this one cannot be defined, but what we can do, we can connect this one with this point and that point, force it to go to the picture plane, then we take it down like that. But what we can do, we can also outline this. Right, and we can also define this. Remember that you have defined, right, or line that you have defined, right, should be outlined. Right, now I'm going to force this one like that, right? So take my 45 degrees set square like this. So it will hit this point, then take it down like that. Right, get the height. The height is the same height as this one. This one, right, coming from here is the same height. But now this one is forced from the right to left, so it has to be connected to the right vanishing point like this. Like that. Now, on this line, locate this point and that point. So from the SP, right, from the SP again, we take this one up or down, depending on where you have started. So this is the point that we want, and this is the another point that we want. But we connect this point to there, like this. But this is already connected. But remember, these points should be connected to the apex point, which is that, and also this connected to that as well. All right. Now, looking from this side, I don't think you will be able to see that one for now. Right, then we do the same thing. Right, we have forced this one like that, taken it to the ground line, then we take it to the vanishing point, which is the right vanishing point like this. You will now have got this point and that point. This is connected to here, like that. Now we have got so many lines that we can outline. We can outline from here to there. There you go. Right, so that would constitute our outer structure or the side structure, which is here. Right, once we have done that, remember at some point we connected with this, then we took it down, but we did not define it. We can go back there now and outline from here to there, like that. That can be outlined. Right, now what we have right at the bottom now, right, which is this part, we have got a circular part like this. Now the idea with regards to circular parts, right, let's take this, you need to divide it into a number of equal parts. I'm going to divide it into 6 equal parts. That's 1. That's a point here. Stand one. Right, you do the same this side. Remember, if it is drawn at 30. Now we have got this. I would say this is my point 0. Right, that's my point 1. That's my point 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, right, so that we are just able to see this. Right, if we take, for example, we have got this one, right, which would basically be on that line. Right, so what we can do, we can get hold, because it's not going to change, it will still be that line. Right, so we can get hold of this point and locate it somewhere here. We do this on the SP, like that. Take this one down. Right, we now have got this particular edge. Right, it would now force us, right, to even go backwards and outline this. There, from here to there. Right, we can also now outline from here to there. Right, and also outline this part. Remember, every detail that can be defined, you should be able to define it as well. Right, we have got this point 1. Point 1 is in line with point 5, so that we are hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. Right, okay, so if we do this from there, we can project like that. It hits the picture plane at that point. That line is already there. Then we project it downwards. Right, to hit both this height up at the top and at the bottom. So we need to take this one to the right vanishing point, because we forced it like that. So it was from right to left. Just showing the illustrations. Right, okay. Once we have got these lines, we can now get hold of this point and that point respectively. Right, at the top and at the bottom. Remember, once we get to the top one, we would have also gotten the bottom one. Right, these ones, we can take them like that and extend them backwards like this. So let's get hold of this. To that point, and we take it down. Which is that. So we now have got this point and that point, okay? Right, so this point would be connected to here, and this point would be connected to there. But we go to number two, but before we do that, let's also get hold of number 5. Connected there. Right, you take it down. So you have got this is number 5. This is also number 5. Okay, maybe we might use that. Right, then we go to number 4. Right, let's do this such that we deal with 2 points at once. We have that. The line is already there. Right, so we take it down. Take this one down. We have got this and we have got that. Take them to the vanishing points. Like that. Like that. So on these 2 lines that we have drawn, right, we should be able to locate point number 2 and point number 4. So let's get hold of point number 2 first. Like that. Then we take it down. The moment it hits the picture plane, we take it down like this. Right. We now have got point 2 and point 2. Right, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. We do the same for point number 4. From the SP, take this one. Take this one down. You have got point 4. You have got point 4. Right. Last but not least, we need to establish point number 3. Right. Point number 3 is already there in terms of hitting the picture plane, but it should now be directed to the left vanishing point. Left vanishing point like this. Left vanishing point like that. Then we get hold of point number 3. We do this, okay? So we have got point 3, we have got point 3. Right. Once you have gotten these points, right, we have got point 5, right, we have got point 4, 3, 2, this, then 1, 0, right, all the way to 2, then 0, all the way to 2, 1. Okay. So this would be it, right? Then what we can do now, here from number 3, it will just guide us, but we need now to join everything, right? So it's like this. Okay. Then we have got this one, we can just tilt this. Like that. Then you do the same this side. Like that. Once we have done that, let me just define this. Then this has to be a straight line. Like that. So this is that part from here to there, which is the thickness, which is the circular part, right? And we have got also now our side structure, right? So if we look at this now, right, in terms of our drawing, right, see this line, it's not so clear. Okay, much better, I suppose. Right, but it has to be a smooth curve, okay? Right. So what we do sometimes, right, just to make sure that we are able to to show, but in terms of graphics, we can just render a little bit here to give a bit of life to our drawing, okay? But make sure that in terms of your rendering, you are not going to close off the construction lines, because those are critical. They have to be seen. Right, we have got point 0 and 0, we've got point 1 and 1, we have got point 2 and 2, 3 and 3, 4 and 4, 5 here, but we need it in order to create that platform. So there you are, boys and girls. This is our perspective. Remember, in an actual examination where you are not explaining anything, right, you should not spend more than 30 minutes on an exercise like this, so that you give adequate time to question number 4 and to the other question, which is question number 2, right? And of course, like I said, question 1 and question 4, those are the critical questions. Make sure you answer question 1, go to question number 4, choose any, question number 2 or number 3. If you still have got time, go on and attack the 4th question as well. Then you realize that you would have you'll be able to get a distinction in terms of your exam. Thank you and good night.